Hi there, sir. Can you see us?
Yeah, I can see you. Oh, I got to turn on my camera. There we go. Hey.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Excited.
I'm so excited to have you guys and hear about the newest work for or the program and just tell us about it. And so excited. Hi, Diana.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having us.
Okay, well, then I guess I'll thank you again. I'll start. But first off, before everything, I want to show a little short video of kind of documentation of the project before we get on, and I introduce the rest of the collaborating artists of the project. I'm gonna share. There we go. Let me know if you can hear it, okay? And if you don't, let me know so I can pause. Hi, I'm Josemar Gonzalez, and this was a little documentation of the piece called Transcending Perception, which is the installation that's right now up in Liberty Station. And just first off, I want to thank everybody who's been part of this project. This project has been a long time coming, so there's been a lot of people involved at several different stages of the project. And I want to introduce Diana Cervera, who's also here, because she's a collaborating artist and friend of mine. And I'm going to let her introduce herself and speak a little bit about her role in this project.
Cool. Yeah, hello everyone. I also just wanted, I know at the part of this program, we're going to bring up the collaborating poets. So those of you that have gotten to visit the installation, it's right by the lot, by the movie theater. So you'll get to meet the folks whose faces are on these huge 9-foot doors in a second, because we're going to call them up to share some of the poetry. And yeah, so my role in the installation was to lead community engagement workshops with the poets, which I'll speak a little bit more about in a moment, and kind of describe some of the activities that we did and give you all a little bit of a taste of what we did. And I just wanted to also shout out and give some kudos to the Aja Project, who we worked with when we got this grant about 3 years ago. I was the program manager at the Aja Project and have worn a number of different hats thereafter. So shout out to them, because I know they're in the room as well. So yeah, Josemar, if you wanted to talk about the concept design, and then I can jump into the workshops like in more detail.
Yeah, definitely. So a little bit about myself. I'm a transporter artist. Being transporter means that I live in the border between Tijuana and San Diego, and I develop all the work that I do. Well, most of the work that I do, and I've most of my life I've spent it in the border. So a lot of the work that I do involves these dualities and these ideas of identity, of fluidity and identity as well, and kind of the way this project happened about when like Diana said, it was a while ago, she was part of the Aja Project. That was also part of the Aja Project there. So when kind of the initial idea between the project was to create this I want to create this like sort of like a monument, this sculptures and that have a story, And during the time that I worked at the Aja Project, and kind of my work as an artist, like I've learned a lot about storytelling and what it's like to document, and how to do it in the best way that is true to the community that I work with, and true to the people that I collaborate with, and make it meaningful. I think about art as this tool that can be used for many different things. In history, it's always been used either for good or for evil, or if you will, or any a bunch of other different things. But kind of thinking about like what representation means in this world that we're currently in, and that we've been in the history behind it, being NTC being this old naval base, having so much history, and me being at the border, being so close to the border, and what does that mean for me as an artist? So with developing this concept, I wanted to talk about representation and perception, which is why it's called Transcending Perception. No one created these sculptures thinking of these like portals or pathways for people to be able to understand, and to some degree, some of the stories that we have in this sculpture. And thinking about that, well, when we were conceptualizing this piece, Diana and I were talking about like, well, we need to bring in the community to make it a real piece that talks about real perception. You need to bring more people to be able to represent. So kind of that's when we decided that the piece needed to have a series of workshops in order to make that happen. And I'm going to let Diana speak a little bit more about the development of these workshops and how that kind of came about.
Cool. Thank you, Josemar. Yeah, so like I said, my role was to develop and lead a series of community engagement workshops that involved writing, and we invited the poets who you'll meet in a moment to be part of this. And I just want to give them a huge shout out, because I really believe that they represent the diversity and artistic genius of the San Diego arts community. And it was really particularly an honor to get to work with these folks, not only because of their amazing artistry and creativity, but their leadership and the labor of love that I know that they are doing every day in their communities and in San Diego and beyond, to really affect change, especially within the moment that we're living right now. So huge shout out to you all. I'm excited to be in the room again with you. So as you saw in the opening of the video, we had a series of 2 workshops. And what we really wanted to do was, as Josemar mentioned, like really think about representation and why it matters. And especially within a place like NTC that is a formal naval base, and the legacy of what that means. So I wanted to share today a little bit of what we used to sort of frame our conversation. We did writing, we did photo, we did a lot of discussion about our own identities, our own lived experiences as people of color, as folks representing diverse communities and intersections. But what I wanted to share today was like a little bit of a taste of sort of some of the conversation that we had to frame our creative process. So let me see if I can share my screen really quickly. Sorry, Andrew, do I have to have like or maybe I can just do my entire screen. Sorry, 1 second.
Diana, there should be like a little share screen button right underneath your icon there.
Okay, it says I'm sharing my whole screen. So
You can pick a different window. Let's see.
Okay, so you also get a window with images now?
When you go to share screen,
Uh-huh.
you might want to kill the screen and then just hit share again, and you can share like a window or an app.
Okay. There we go. Got it. Okay, we're good now. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, one of the central activities that we opened the workshops with was a political cartoon gallery walk. And we did this in order to activate conversation and a little bit of critical thinking around historic representations of marginalized and underrepresented communities throughout United States history. So I say that in quotes because I think as we're becoming more attuned to currently, we know that these were intentional marginalizations, intentional exclusion. So we came into a room where we had a series of political cartoons, executive orders in a gallery, so to speak, with an explanation of what these different moments in U.S. history. So I'm not going to dive into all of them, but among those was, for example, we looked at images and some of the texts of the Executive Order 9066, which called for the forced removal and incarceration of over 180,000 folks of Japanese ancestry during World War II under U.S. law. And I don't want to be too long, but I wanted to focus on an image that we can unpack here together. So the image you're viewing here is of Carlsley Indian Industrial School in Carlsley, Pennsylvania, which opened in 1879. And it functioned for about 39 years as the first government-run boarding school for Native American children. So the champion and founder of this school was Richard Henry Pratt, an American general who championed the phrase, "kill the Indian, save the man." And so this is an example, I think, of one of the many institutional and systemic forms of racism and exclusion that has existed within United States history, and characteristic of other moments, right, that have allowed for an agenda of exclusion, forced assimilation, and othering to occur. Sorry, am I still? Oh, yes. Okay. Within that, I also wanted to, I'm sorry, I thought that my internet went off. Okay. So we looked at this image to really understand the ways in which representation has played a role. So if we look at the socio-political context of this moment, it was just popularly believed and held that Native folks were savage, dirty, undesirable. And so in this context, it made sense that the United States needed to create schools to reform and assimilate these folks in order so they could be American. And so it just became kind of like popularly held belief. So we looked at examples like this and many other examples throughout US history to really analyze the role that representation has played in really fixing a popular imagination about people and communities of color. So I don't want to be too long-winded, but within our discussion, we started to look at the role representation has perhaps played within our own communities and how we as artists and creatives have the power to sort of take back the means of creation and the means of representation in order to tell our own truths and create work that is for, by, and about our own communities. So we kind of did this as a departure point to think about what do we have to say? What is the entry point into our stories, into our communities, and why is it important that those representations are created for, by, and about us? So I'll leave it there because I want to really have time for the poets to share. Sorry, I'm struggling with the screen share. But yeah, thank you so much. And I'll hand it back to you, Josemar. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you, Diana. So during these workshops, this process that Diana was explaining, kind of these conversations that we were happening, I kind of, during this process, I was documenting and kind of also understanding and learning as well, through this project. I feel that as an artist, the process of creation is equally as important as the final piece, whether that's an installation or whether that's a video or a photograph or a narrative or a poem or composition of music. The process is equally as important, and I try to build that into the creation of the piece. what does that mean for me? What process am I going to put myself through in order to make this happen? So I dove in completely into these workshops as well with my comrades, with the rest of the artists that are here, and I was grateful to be allowed to be in that space and have these conversations and be in community with fellow artists and fellow creatives. That process involved a lot of change. We started this project in I think it was for 2018, and we're 2020. We're about to jump into 2021. So that process of the initial sketches, what the idea was like what is this going to look like? How tall is it going to be? How wide is it going to be? What's the space like? How many are we going to have? How many artists do we want to have? Do we want people to interact with it? No, do we not want people to interact with it? What are we trying to say? So figuring out in the process of design, I had an idea. I had an idea of what I think it should have looked like, and I had an intention that I was 100% sure of. But something that I know that as an artist, the things always during the process, once you bring in emotions and once you bring in creativity and creation, that everything starts to change. It morphs and it becomes a whole different piece, a whole different concept, and kind of the piece, my perception of it changed, which is kind of what happens with why it's also called Transcending Perceptions. This idea that I had that I wanted to see, and then it became something else, and the poets and everybody really influenced it. And I created this piece, and I'm an artist that lives in the border for a reason. I find that Tijuana allows me to create things that maybe I can't do in other places. It allows for that flexibility, and I learned that from one of my mentors, and about how to use it, how to use it as a hack. And part of the piece that I created, and you saw a little bit in the video, I created part of it in Tijuana, and then I had it cross the border. But it was a whole thing because we were supposed to install in March. After so many things happened, we were supposed to install this March, and right at the Friday the weekend that everything got closed because of COVID, that I was literally the day we were supposed to install, and I had to store this piece, and it was in a warehouse, sitting in a warehouse for all these months until we installed in October. And that process of having the piece be stored, having the piece stay in one place, it just kind of, there's something that I felt. There was so much work that had been done, so much emotion that had been already invested in these workshops, so much vulnerability from the artists and from myself, that I felt I had this beautiful piece that I had to really take care of, that nobody could see. I felt like it was such a delicate thing, even though they're 9 feet tall doors, and made of metal and that light up, with so many components to it, yet it felt so delicate. And because of how much trust was given to me with these pieces, having them stored was like a huge blow to my ego, if you will, and as an artist, I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh my God, what is everybody else going to think about this piece that hasn't gone up? What does that mean? And that made me also think about my process internally as an artist and as a person, like, well, why am I feeling this way? And I want to feel better. So we installed it, and it's up, and I think it's beautiful, and I'm happy to be here. And in that process, I figured out that this piece, at the end of the day, was a piece of love. It was just me wanting to honor my community and honor the people that were part of it, and tell a story and have everybody feel happy at the end. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Diana, who's going to introduce all the poets, and they're amazing. They're amazing artists.
Yes, and I just want to echo what Josemar said. I think one difficult thing with kind of like work like this is that we can like tell you about sort of the feelings and the emotions and the vulnerability that was created. And I think it's like a testament to just like this perfect moment of like synergy between the planning, right, for these interactions with the poets who are our friends, and we know them as like leaders and doing amazing work in the community. You'll get to hear like who each of them are. And then the spectacle of just seeing the piece, it almost seems like effortless just to go now and see it right there by the lot, lit up, and just beautiful. But kind of what it took, kind of even doubts around like, where is this piece going to be, and what do I want to say? And does my message have a conflict with the history of this place? So hopefully you'll get to hear a little bit about that in the poetry. So I don't know if Kate or Andrew can help me bring on, I think we can just bring everyone on and they can just be on mute just so you can see everyone, if that's okay. And so we have DJ Kuttin Kandi, who is an amazing artist, poet, and I'll let her tell you a little bit more about herself. We have Famo Musa, who is part of the Alondra Project, amazing photographer, mother, queen, artist. We have Jeff Valenzuela, who's also an amazing photographer, activist, and just all around amazing human. We have two more, and they're bringing on Derek and Alondra. Yes, we have Khalil Bleux, aka Derek, who's here with us. Amazing poet, artist, youth advocate, and community leader. Hello, it's so good to see you all. And I think Alondra is here too. I know her Wi-Fi, she texted me that it was a little slow, but Kandi, I don't know if we also wanted to have some time for all of you to reflect a little bit on your experience, if you want to share with the folks in attendance, like if you want to share like one reflection, and I'll kind of help moderate between everyone. And if you want to share your piece, Kandi, like tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe one reflection and then your piece, and then we'll move on to the next person, if that's cool.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kandi, DJ Kuttin Kandi, pronoun she and hers. I was going to start crying already just seeing all of you. Come on. And that speaks to the reflection, because I think that the first thing that came to mind also is that we wrote this right when COVID was emerging. And this was one of the last things I did right before COVID-19 put us in a shelter and in place and isolation. And it brings up a lot of emotions because it was a good memory to have right before, and this project is a huge reflection of what it means to be in community with folks and how important it is to be in community with folks. And it was a powerful project to write together and to be able to be vulnerable in a space. The fact that I can feel like I can cry amongst you speaks to how we were able to have that kind of space with each other. And it really meant a lot to me for you to invite us to this project and to see it come alive, and the care and the intention that you all gave to all of us, to our work, to our words, all of that just has us really be seen on a door where often people shut us out in our lives and often treat us as othered. So I guess that would be my reflection of what this piece means to what this installation project and all of your pieces, how powerful you all are to me. Whew. So I'm going to read an excerpt. It's quite longer. Cut it down. If I go over, please don't hesitate to stop me while I'm in it. The doors were not open as they said it would be. Closed shut, eyes tight, still the way that you looked back at me. Heavy was the gaze when you didn't get to be the tough one, the rough one, the blue one. Hold on, Glock 9, cause he held an open bottled one. 31, too young to watch the last breath of a beaten drum. Respectability had them bow down, keep low and run, like the way my father had me cower at the strike, like the way they came in at the twilight to take over Lolo's hand, to understand the silence and comfortability of the brand, with never returning to the aching of the rice fields, is to know just how deeply colonialism befriended assimilation at the glass window, finding its way in though, knowing the reflection back from its peek through from the hint of its tyrannical you is too much to bear to carry, like rainwater in buckets from the top of the mountain. Cold it felt. I feel it dripping as it poured from the top of the head to the thirst of the body, longing the pain. It is then I am wondering, who am I at this moment when I'm asking you to meet me at the crossroads where they've called me to work? Where is this place I could not be seen, damp and rusty like a shackling of the spirit from incarceration, 25 to life, sentenced into unjust climates that demanded our backs be of service to the fossil fuel, the cotton plantations, to the tobacco, to the barracks at Uncle Sam's, to the transcontinental radio, to the fields at Delano, to the sugarcane and the bananas, to the way I may have never known what it was like to be held, forgiven, remembered, seen, witnessed, honored. Have we tucked tucked away another dream, closed another door because it's better to be kept quiet. Even though I once witnessed my father's knife force a racist to submit, what do we bring to the pulpit when we forget such orders like the 9066? Should we hold such the truth and reminisce the white man's burden, savior to the village of Lausanne? Because only God can save us now. They summon. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for, but we out here surviving, not dreaming. We out here surviving, not dreaming. Instead, we pulling back the memories of colonial imperialistic disease, trauma of a yellow peril. Coronavirus got us in a tight squeeze. Sanitize and purify. Hands they never hold as they hold back the air that we breathe. Resources they greed because ableism will keep the poor disabled out under smart streetlights, begging as we fight against a mayor's hepatitis because no rent control and handcuffs on the wrist. Deflection is like a common viral infection of how they contain the homeless. We know this familiarity of containment, the way they reinvented white supremacy patriarchy, to the way Dr. Seuss wrapped it up all prettily to digest into the depths of our bellies. Destiny we manifest. That phobic is the consumption as we hunger the aggression. We can no longer recognize the fascism at our front stoop, much less the youth we declare we have loved of the yesteryear, but have thrown to the warfare. I fear the battle we have journeyed to cleanse ourselves to nowhere. They call me. I see you at the door. I see you. I cry. Hands towards the home we keep see gliding over its ironclad immense open reach as it creaks in its floor to ceiling invitation. Take leap to its freedom on the other side. Beyond invisibility, a word for every gaze look past me. I push through the wide view, fully swung open in all its truth. I am the door, and I return the gaze upon you.
Thank you, Kandi. I mean, um, I don't even want to say anything. I'm just feeling because Diana's connection went out. You know, like, somebody else, but I'm just without words. You know how much I love you, Kandi. You know, um, I mean, I'm just gonna let it pass through to whoever wants to come up next and share your poem and your experience. Yeah.
Can you all hear me? Sorry. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Josemar. Kandi, that was amazing. We could feel it through the screen, even though I know we're in this COVID situation. And like, I think that your piece really just embodies like everything we talked about. So up next we had Khalil Bleux, aka Derek. If you could share a reflection and your piece, please.
Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. What up, y'all? Thank you guys so much for having us here. And why you put me after Kandi, I'll never know. But okay. No, thank you for spitting. It's a joy to hear that. My reflection. This, I think we've talked a lot about the space that was created and claimed for us in this project, and so much of that is due to like the genius artistry and the leadership and collaboration between Josemar and Diana, and just even the willingness to share this platform with us as collaborating artists has been healing and scary at times, and all of the things that we're trying to do. Because I think even the poetry of a piece like this being mounted at a place like Liberty Station, right, where not all of us have access to the type of liberty that we try to speak about or that we're trying to create in the world. And it feels good to be a part of this conversation being mounted in this space and for this purpose. And for me, when we talked about transcending perceptions as a project, it really made me think inward. I think Deanna spoke earlier about us all really trying to get to the core of who we are and what we had to say in the space, and maybe what we were at liberty to say in the space. And so I chose an I am poem and some just kind of like personal storytelling to write. And so I'll share that with you. And it sounds like this. I am a toffee-dusted truth with a freckle-splattered history. I am the message my ancestors sent here in a bottle. I am bold legs and straight talk. I am hellfire, to say the least. Carbon-pressured, diamond in the root. I am southeast. I am story untold and unfolding. The blueprint, the ancient scrolls. I am the pages they tried to leave out of the retelling. Make telephone game of promises. Make puzzle of policy. Make pieces of my humanity. Jigsaw my intersections. Cut me up like Bartman. See my wholeness as an impossibility. I am the black that this country made flag of. Striped red to the white meat. White out the bloodstains, sing anthem over the sound of clanging chain, noose allegiance around our throats from grade K, right hand over broken heart. This land is still covered with trees that hold stories of black bodies like banner, yet wave. I am the exhale, the old breath. I am plantation purged on page. I am freedom papers. I write like axe to chain. I am inkscape. I am pressed down and run away. I am home found in a hopeless place. Grandma's hands, fried chicken wings and cigarettes. I am salt and pepper on the radio and lorries on everything else. This tastes like love to me. My body is a love story, a reclamation of our history, and I stand unapologetic, unwavering, unbit. I am Baldwin's voice, Thurgood's gavel, and Valerie's kiss. I am Malcolm's wisdom, Nina's song, and Coretta's fist. I am the diary of Philando's daughter, and I am the shouting of Mahalia's praise. I am Harriet's footprints. I am Josephine Baker's rhythm, Mammy Till's rage, and Langston's wrist. Thank you.
Derek, thank you so much. I love your words. I just want to let that settle in with people. I think, yeah, it's really beautiful to be in this space with you all again. And I hope folks that are in attendance can just really feel the energy and vulnerability that went into the space and into the poets just really being so raw with what they shared. I know that we're working on getting Alondra, who's the other poet, on. So Alondra, I think Kate is going to try to contact you. But while we get you on, I was going to have Famo introduce yourself and maybe share a reflection and then share your piece if you like.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Famo Musa. And I just wanted to say thank you to Deanna and Josemar for giving us a platform and for making a safe place for us to be ourselves. And this experience for me was about finding myself and being okay with who I am. It made me rise and stop letting people's opinion affect me and ruling my life. So it gave me confidence, and I just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity and for this piece. Its existence, it shaped who I am today, right now. And the piece that I'm gonna read, I named it Outside of Me. And it starts with what you don't see. The first sight of two smiling faces washing me with a ray of sunshine. When I open my eyes each morning, my love of food, but my dislike of being in the kitchen. My life is a mirror of what you see and what I want you to see. You don't see the artist living through her lens, the writer sharing her passion through the words flowing on the paper. You don't see my love of pink roses. You don't see the palm trees that is home, the echoes and the laughter of my family. My tendency for loving and caring too deeply for the wrong people. The sorrow of not seeing my grandmother, but hearing her voice inside my head, wishing she was near me, or at least pictures I could call memories. Or my wall shining light into my heart. You don't see many things. such as I am thoughtful and reflective. I can be quiet unless we're familiar. I am observant and believe in the magic of people. I dream of a better world. My mind is constantly brewing in the works, but I return my gaze upon the people who don't recognize their ignorance, who need a taste of their privilege that affects people, who don't see the wounds they're opening every time they open their mouth, blind to the red dripping in their prisons because they believe they bleed green and blue. Their loud, noisy presence that is forced upon us, even when they don't speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Famo Musa. Y'all definitely connect with these artists if y'all want to drop your Instagrams or anything in the chat, because like, for example, Famo's a photographer. Famo is an amazing person in the community, activist. Thank you, Famo. And I'm happy we have Alondra on. I think you're on mute, Alondra, but I wanted to give you the chance to introduce yourself. I know you're not going to share a poem tonight, but if you wanted to just share, we're just having everyone share a reflection on their experience. So anything that you want to share about yourself, and just any reflection of any part of the process that you want to share with folks that are here tonight.
Hi, everyone. Hope you can hear me. Sorry about that. But yeah, I just want to say, first and foremost, the immense honor that it is to even get the opportunity to be in the same room with these incredible people. And it's just insane to me that I have the privilege to get to work with people I look up to so much. And the fact that like we were able to make this happen against like all odds is just amazing to me. And yeah, I still can't believe it. I recently had the chance to go and see the installation for myself, and they really are like monuments, and it's just breathtaking. And I couldn't believe that I was seeing myself be so big, because I'm like barely 4 feet tall. So to be like so big, I was like, whoa. No, but I think the perfect way to put it is like what Josemar said. This was just a project of love, and truly just like a love letter to what it is like to belong to our different communities and to have this unity that I feel like is not very easy to find for people like us a lot of the time, especially in these places. So to get the chance to see ourselves in those spaces is just, I have no words. And I think the fact that we were the ones that got a say in everything just truly is what made this project so special. And once again, I feel so lucky to get to be a part of this with all of these incredible people. And my one hope for all of this is that you all really take in every word that was said and every word that was printed, and that sticks with you, because that is something that we carry with ourselves all the time. So yeah, thank you so much, Diana, and to all of you beautiful people for allowing me the chance to get to experience this with you. Thank you.
Oh, Alondra, I want to cry. Yeah, before I pass it to Jeff, I just wanted to say, like, I think as I'm hearing everyone speak their poems, because honestly, I think this, like Josemar mentioned, the project has had so many different like changes, and like, you know, over like we were able to make it happen basically after like 3 years, and it's like installed, and all the things that it took to get that piece across the border and to get everyone in one room. And I think like what Kandi said in her poem is like, we're meeting at the crossroads, right, of all of our intersections and all of our identities. And I think that the poets that are speaking kind of embody that. And maybe at the end, Josemar, you can talk a little bit more too about sort of like how those things came together maybe after Jeff speaks, because I think that there's something there that hasn't been named, like all this energy, all this like love, all this kind of like pain or vulnerability that we even shared, or experiences, both good and bad, that shaped who we are, kind of went into this project. But Jeff, I wanted to give you a chance to introduce yourself. I know anything you want to say about your work as a photographer, and maybe a reflection, and if you wanted to share your piece.
Sure. Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's always a real privilege to be in this space with all of y'all. I'll try to hold it together. My name is Jeff Valenzuela Garcia. I'm a photographer, activist, educator, proud son of immigrant parents. And I mean, I don't think there's much I can say that hasn't been said, but besides, it was something special to be given this space to share this, to be vulnerable. A lot of my piece is taken from something that I had written titled "To Be Left in Kristen Nielsen's Mailbox," a nod to the great Gil Scott-Heron. And it was written after the events of November 25th, 2018, when U.S. Customs and Border Protection fired tear gas and rubber bullets at migrants and refugees across the border who were just trying to demand that their rights of seeking asylum be respected and be granted. And so I think I'll just go right into my poem, if that's okay. I am full of love, just not the Hallmark card, bathroom art sandwich between living and laughing, here to make you smile kind of love. My love ignites like a Molotov in the face of state-sanctioned violence. My love is born from resistance. My love is for my people, and my love exists among the people. My love is rooted in the earth that birthed me. My love is seeking justice for the ones who died thirsty. My love is formed in the footsteps of those who keep walking in permanent solidarity, arm in arm, stretching far beyond your border walls. My love is solidarity. So they call me a threat to their national security, because you see, my love looks criminal to the heartless. So they throw me in chains, shackled and detained, and here we remain, arm in arm, standing in solidarity regardless. Because the hypocrisy's rich in all these fear-mongering tricks, when it's the Department of Homeland Security crying out invasion, and at the same time they got troops lined up at our southern borders firing live rounds and tear gas into a sovereign nation. Because I can still hear the sound of those projectiles flying. I look down, a child lying on the ground, her mother crying, and the blood curdling screams when she believed her daughter was dying. And that was your government that put that gas in her lungs. Just like it's your government that's selling the guns, and just like it's your government that's blasting the slugs that just happen to land in the backs of all the powerful ones. See, my love shines bright through the night like the torch that set the fire to melt the ice that continues to terrorize our gente. Jose, Felipe, Claudia, Jacqueline, Roxana Hernandez presente.
Thank you so much. So, thank you so much for all of you for connecting. I know that there's like people in the audience, but like for the moment, like listening to this, it just feels like I'm just in the room with all of you. So I just wanted to say thank you so much again for your vulnerability in this moment, in this process, to all of you. And I hope that this monument, I think, that is rooted in love and in all of the experiences that you all were so forthcoming with sharing, can transcend to folks that visit it. So I'll turn it over to Josemar. I don't know if you want to say anything else, or Andrew, or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just going to say one last couple final things before we move into it. If people want to ask questions, I don't know if there's enough time, but I'm just going to take this moment because since we started
Oh no, I think his connection.
I don't know if my connection went away. Am I still here?
You're back. You're here.
No, I have not been in the same physical space with everybody right now that I'm seeing virtually. With all of the artists, I have not seen you in the same physical space since the last time that we did this workshop, which was the beginning of the year. So I just want to say it again. When I said it then, and I said it at that moment, that all I wanted was everybody to be happy at the end. You know, and I hope that that this project has brought some joy to all y'all. I hope that you enjoyed the process. I really enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it because I feel like this is part of the art piece. This moment is part of that art piece. You know, the piece is ephemeral. Someday it will no longer be there. But these moments that we take with us forever, like that's where the art piece is at. So I want to thank all of y'all for letting me be part of this, for allowing me to take your photo, for trusting me, you know, for really believing in me, even though you guys believe more in me than I believed in myself in the whole time. So that is what really makes it worth it. So thank y'all. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I got all love for all of y'all.
Oh, I know everybody in the background is giving everybody a big round of applause. I can't tell you how many warm emotions are just percolating up over here. I absolutely love what Alondra said about this just kind of seeming like a big love letter. And you know, while we're all in our own spaces right now, and you know, with COVID, I think Josemar, like you said, this feels like, or maybe Diana, this feels like the biggest hug in the last 8 months. So I appreciate everybody just being here, speaking, you know, truth and how you're feeling, and that we can help support this happening through this digital space and in person. So I hope everybody can kind of see and feel the work that you did, you know, here in person, and still enjoy it through here. And so thank you for making time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your ideas and being yourself. And I can't tell you how you know, happy I am that we were able to do this at Virtual First Friday, and look forward to hopefully doing more things like this and again in the future. So thank you very much. Thank you, audience, for coming out to enjoy Virtual First Friday. This is such a moving experience. Yeah, like a big virtual hug. So I hope you all enjoyed it too. And you know, I hope you enjoy the rest of your holidays. Please come back on social media. We're going to post some of these videos, so hopefully all the artists are okay with that, and we'll share this, and hope everybody can see and experience this over the holiday season. And just come back and, you know, support the arts and support your neighbors and support your community. So thank you very much.